Happy Thursday, everyone. This is a special bonus Data Talk Thursdays with Dan. The topic for this discussion is what is up with Zillow? Now, before we begin the discussion, there are a few terms that we need to define. Now, if you haven't heard about a iBuyer or internet buyer, let's define what an iBuyer is. Essentially, an iBuyer will make an offer to purchase your property sight unseen, and it essentially will alleviate the normal home buying process that you have real estate agents, title companies, and lenders in place for. Now, Zillow has found out the hard way that the real estate business is not an easy business. So let's dig into the data. Zillow says it's closing home buying business, cutting 25% of workforce. Earnings miss estimates. Another headline, Zillow torched $381 million overpaying for houses. Spectacular. This article is from floridarealtors.com.org. Zillow to stop home flipping amid pricing unpredictability. And then this last article from MarketWatch, Zillow to stop flipping homes for good as it stands to lose more than $550 million, will lay off a quarter of their staff. Now, again, the real estate business is not an easy business to be in, and especially the iBuyer market. So there is some more information I want to share with you about the internet buyer. And for this information, we'll actually go directly to Zillow's website. So what is a Zestimate? The Zestimate home valuation model is Zillow's estimate of a home's market value. A Zestimate incorporates public, MLS, and users submitted data into Zillow's proprietary formula, also taking into account home facts, location, and market trends. It is not an actual appraisal and can't be used in place of an appraisal. Now, pay close attention to this next paragraph where it discusses how accurate is the Zestimate. The nationwide median error rate for the Zestimate for on-market homes is 1.9%, while the Zestimate for off-market homes has a median error rate of 6.9%. And that's where the trouble began for Zillow's home buying endeavors. If you're going to have a home buying company, an error rate of 6.9% is very high. And this iBuyer process is the process of Zillow buying off-market products and off-market real estate. So from the very beginning, their off-market median error rate of 6.9%, that's a very large range for error. So why is this a challenge for Zillow? Why they eventually have to just say that we can't do this anymore? It's because of one simple reason. The market is unpredictable. Me as a real estate agent, my colleagues as real estate agents, appraisers, title companies, lenders, the government, no one has a crystal ball to know what to predict for what will happen with housing prices a year from now, 6 months from now, and definitely not on a day-by-day basis. The market can shift because of outside external factors. You just have to let the market does what it will intend to do. So let's look at some more information about the market. On Zillow's website, they actually have information about not just a nationwide accuracy of their Zestimate, they also have information about the state by state accuracy of their information. And that's where I want to go now. So I live in the Kansas City area. We have markets in Kansas as well as Missouri. It's our metro area. And this is information pulled from Zillow's website. When you look at the median error rate for Kansas and Missouri, they're not even able to tell you what the median error is for our metro area. And the reason why that is because Zillow doesn't have access to all of our data. That's very important. In Florida, they have an on-market median error rate of 2.1% and an off-market median error rate of 7.5%. But for the Kansas and Missouri area in which I live, they can't even tell you what the median error rate is because there is not enough data for them in our market. As real estate agents in the area, we have access to that information and that data, but Zillow does not. So when you think about the 6.9% off-market median error rate that Zillow discusses nationwide, that's not even playing a factor in the Kansas and Missouri areas. And is also not playing a factor in multiple other metro areas. You have Alaska, Idaho, Indiana, Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana. It goes further. They don't have enough data on those markets, both off market and on market, to even clearly define what the value of property should be in those areas. And that's scary for you as a home buyer or a home seller. If you're only depending on these Zestimates that Zillow puts on their website, and for many of the areas, they don't even have accurate data that's being provided to them, for you as a home buyer or home seller, that's going to put you in a very difficult situation. So at the end of the day, Zillow essentially got caught up in the emotions of the market. And that's not something that you want to do as a investor or a home buyer or home seller. You have to keep the emotions of the real estate industry out of the transaction. Now, what are some ways that you can properly place value on homes? First, we'll look at some things you shouldn't do, and then we'll look at what you should do. So the market value of your home is not what you have in it, not what you need to get out of it, not what it is appraised for, not what you heard your neighbor's house sold for, not what the tax office says it's worth, not based on memories and treasures, and not based on the price of homes where you are moving. At the end of the day, your house and the value of your home is based on today's current market, today's competition, today's financing, today's economic conditions, the buyer's perception of the property condition, the location, as well as the normal market time. That's what you should rely on when you're trying to get an accurate description, an accurate understanding of what's happening with the market in your neighborhood. So today, there could be 10 houses in your neighborhood on the market. Those 10 houses could sell today, or those 10 houses could sit on the market for a number of days. All of the non-activity and the activity happening in your specific neighborhood is what will dictate the value of properties in your neighborhood, as well as the condition of the property. If my home needs to be remodeled, I can't expect to get the same price for my home that my neighbor gets when he's taken the time, or she has taken the time, to renovate that property, make it more modern. They've made the investment, and now they can benefit from that investment. So when you think about what is happening with the market, what is happening with Zillow, what is happening with buyers and sellers, everyone is beginning to kind of get a little bit spoiled with the seller's market. You can't expect to put a property on the market that is subpar and get top dollar value. I mentioned this earlier in our group that if you put the money into the property, you can expect to reap the rewards of that property. But if you don't put any investment into the property, expect to get a lesser amount of value out of that property. Any valuation of a property needs to be reviewed both by your real estate agent as well as the lender, along with the appraisers and essentially an underwriter, to make sure that the process is validated. That's what was not being done with this iBuyer process. They were purchasing homes sight unseen, and then not knowing, is what I paid for this value an accurate valuation of the property? And now, due to the lack of that due diligence, Zillow is being forced to shut down that part of their business. So that should definitely be just something for us to learn from. When you're buying real estate or selling real estate, make sure you're following the proper process. That way you maximize and reap the benefits of your investment.